All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning and welcome to the public hearing for the OLCC's 2025 Marijuana Legislative and Technical Rules Package. My name is Nicole Blase, and I'm the Rules Coordinator for the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission. Today is October 21st, 2025 at approximately 9:03 a.m., and this public hearing is being held virtually. Please be advised that today's hearing is being recorded. As a reminder, please be courteous to those who are submitting testimony today and ensure that your phone or computer microphone are muted unless you are speaking. The purpose of a public hearing is to provide those interested an opportunity to submit data and/or personal comments to be considered by the agency prior to the adoption of permanent rules. As a reminder, this hearing is a chance to provide formal testimony for the public rulemaking record, not for questions or dialogue. Should you have questions, comments, or concerns that are not for the rulemaking record, please contact us offline after the hearing and we will be happy to assist you. This morning's hearing is being held in accordance with Chapter 183 of the Oregon Revised Statutes, otherwise known as the Administrative Procedures Act, Division 1 of Chapter 845 of the Commission's Administrative Rules, and Division 1 of Chapter 137 of the Oregon Administrative Rules, otherwise known as the Model Rules of Administrative Procedure. During today's hearing, we will accept comments from anyone who wishes to submit them. If you are interested in providing testimony but have not yet signed up, please raise your hand in Teams, or if you are calling in, please announce yourself when there is an opening. If you wish to submit written comments after today's hearing, as we are still in the public comment period for this rule package, you may do so provided that all submissions are received no later than 12 p.m. on October 31st, 2025. In accordance with OAR 137-001-0040, all public comments received on this matter, whether in the form of written document or oral testimony, will be posted on our agency's rulemaking website and will become a part of the permanent rulemaking record. Here is a short summary of the proposed rule package we will be discussing today. The Oregon legislature passed several bills during the 2025 Oregon legislative session to include Senate Bills 558, 162, and 907, which require agency rulemaking to implement. Further, the agency must also undertake rulemaking to respond to changes within the industry and consider whether technical adjustments are necessary. At this time, we have one person signed up to submit testimony today. For anyone who wishes to present testimony today, please, before you begin, please state your name and affiliation for the record. As stated in this notice, this hearing will be open until 10 a.m. today or 5 minutes after the last oral comment has been entered into the record. If we do not receive any messages to provide comment, we will close the meeting. The first person that we have to present testimony today is Mia Nelson. Mia, please kindly state your name and affiliation today. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you. My name is Mia Nelson, and I represent Capricorn. We are located in Eugene area. We have 3 producer licenses, a processor license, and a wholesale license. We've been in business since 2017. We have about 60 employees. I already submitted written comments, but I want to just sort of provide some more context about why I've requested the changes that I have. The first one is a request to now that you are removing the requirement that a producer license must be on its own tax lot, I would really like you to encourage you to think about doing away with the whole concept entirely of needing each license to be a discrete, separated premises with its own security system, its own alarm system, doors, walls, fences, and a separate metric identity. I think we all remember when this concept first started. My understanding is the idea of the 10,000 square foot limit was to encourage the smaller licenses, but That has really not happened. We are able to buy as many licenses as we want and assemble them right next to each other. And a lot of producers, including Capricorn, have done that. However, the fact that we've had to have them on separate licenses has created a lot of strange configurations. In our case, we have a 60,000 square foot building that was big enough for 3 licenses. And so when we bought the building, we created multiple tax lots because anyone can create as many tax lots as they want. And then we created multiple addresses and we got multiple licenses, but they're all right next to each other. They're all in the same building. We're able to jump through the hoops that were created, but what it's done is created a lot of strange configurations in our building, and it requires us to do shuffling between these multiple metric identities. And I know that outdoor producers have the same problem. They may have 5, even 10 licenses right next to each other, but each acre is separately fenced. Many of them have separate drying facilities. This makes it really hard. You know, we're able to comply, but the cost and the hassle that it creates, I don't think that that gets anything for the public. I don't think there's a public policy reason behind it. And so I ask you to just open your minds to the idea that maybe what we should be doing instead is allowing a producer like Capricorn that has one big premises, or these outdoor providers that have producers that have a lot of licenses right next to each other. Why not allow us to consolidate those into one premises with one metric identity and just manage it as a larger facility, like what is happening in other states? I think we can still maintain the idea of 10,000 square foot limit per license by having us still have to maintain the requisite number of licenses to do that. But so it won't bypass your caps on flowering canopy size. It would just allow us to run our facilities in a much more efficient way. And as I requested in the letter, if that's impossible, if that really can't happen, then I would at least really appreciate some explicit language in the rule that would allow us to overlay our processor and wholesaler licenses over all our contiguous producer licenses. Currently, we're only being allowed to, paste those licenses over the top of one of these producer licenses instead of all of the ones that are contiguous with each other. And that's going to result in us likely having to get another processor or another wholesaler license because we're running out of space in the license that we have that is currently overlaid. And again, there's not a public policy reason for requiring us to do this. So that is my first request. And the second one was regarding trade samples. I really appreciate the changes that you're making to the trade sample rule. However, I'm somewhat alarmed by it's probably an unintentional thing that has happened here, but the way that the language of the rule has been rewritten, the old purpose for a licensee providing samples to another licensee, which used to say it's for the purpose of deciding whether to purchase the product, that's been taken out. And now the only thing it says is the only purpose that we can have for giving samples to another licensee is for that receiving licensee to in turn provide samples to their workers. And then there's the amount that we can provide is tied to how many workers are going to get those samples. That to me seems like a nightmare because we can't possibly know how many workers that other licensee has, and we certainly can't guarantee that they're going to get samples. So I have another out-of-the-box suggestion for you. When it's a licensee to licensee transfer, I would just say remove the cap completely for how many samples we can transfer. As I explained in the letter, we already don't give more samples than we need to because we can't afford to. And if we do somehow need to give more samples than the rule currently requires, what everybody does is they just sell that dispensary samples for for a very cheap price, maybe even $1, maybe even a penny, and that allows us to get those samples into the hands of the dispensary. So there's no practical cap on how many samples one licensee can provide to another. And so I would just say, let's keep this simple, take that cap away completely when it's a licensee to licensee transfer. But if you're going to actually give these samples to a person, then these limits that you've put in the rule would apply, and they are good, and I support those. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to comment and for working on these rules. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Mia. Is there anybody on the call attending the meeting that would like to submit testimony for the record today? We are here for the public hearing for the OLCC's 2025 marijuana legislative and technical rules package. If you'd like to submit testimony, please raise your hand in Teams or speak up. All right, no one yet. So I will keep the meeting open and recording for another 5 or so minutes and see if there's anyone joining us. And if there have been no further requests at that time, I will close the meeting. So thanks for joining. We are open and recording if you'd like to submit testimony for the record today. Good morning. This is the public hearing for the OLCC's 2025 marijuana legislative and technical rules package. Is there anybody that would like to provide testimony today for the record? Jason, welcome. Please state your name and affiliation for the record. You're on mute, Jason. See if I can unmute you.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you. My name is Jason Lampman. My name and I'm a producer. Do you say affiliation? I'm a producer, and so I'm just a rush. I almost missed this meeting. I wanted to first say thanks to the OLCC. This is a really good rules package. I'm really in support of a lot of these things, and I really like the move to be supporting small businesses, especially being one of the smaller producers in the state and representing other micro tiers. So I'm really grateful for this this rules package, or a lot of this. So one of the parts here. I wanted to start with, oh my gosh, I can't find my notes here. The transfers from producer to producer, I think, is an excellent fit, and definitely supportive of small businesses in a move to be more like traditional farming, which is really helpful for people that also have a farm like ours. I believe, let's see, the next section was, I believe the commission said you're bound by statute to require documentation of notarized consent for ownership of the property. That one is going to be, I think that's going to be tough for a lot of licensees. I know that I already have had a problem, so I would just ask for as much leeway as possible for that. The specific problem that I had in that situation was that we had some, I don't know what the word is, estranged owners. It was siblings who acquired the property, and one takes care of the property, but all three were, because it was inherited, listed on the deed. They are out of state. And I'm already actually trying to work on this because I know it's going to take a long time. And having multiple family members be able to get a notarized thing is going to be, I think it's going to be really hard. It was hard to get them to even sign anything to say that I could get this other property. So, so if there's any kind of leeway, whereas such as the person who's responsible for the property, which one person is, that I don't know what you could do for that. But if there is any leeway, please help us with that. I saw the removal of the restrictions on pre-K or K program, going back to the original rule, which I think is an amazingly positive move. I think that really helps support businesses in keeping it fair in Oregon. I don't think that there was a public health crisis that really was that would have initiated the rule. So I think that it's a fair rule to remove that, so that people aren't forced to leave when a business could come in afterwards. I thought that was kind of a harsh rule. The sample section, I only caught the very end of Miss Nelson's testimony, but I think that the sampling, any increase in sampling is definitely helpful to be able to promote our businesses. I saw that there was actually, I was concerned about the removal of the QC samples. Being a producer, I see that there's it looks like it is kind of, I may provide written testimony later. It looks like it is covered, but I believe that a producer of any product in the state, whether you're a winemaker or a brewer or a hazelnut farmer, which I also am a hazelnut farmer, or a cannabis producer, should be able to test their product for quality, especially in a small business like ours. That is, we differentiate ourselves by being small and having high quality. And the price is really tough sell for some people, but if we can know that it's good, that that is really helpful. So I believe it's in there, but I would even ask for, I mean, I guess I would ask for no limits, but I know that we have a balancing act that we have to take with the commission. But I think that at the very minimum, that we should be able to have the 28 grams of QC samples per strain, per harvest lot, per month. Because sometimes you harvest a product and you do a test batch or a test wash or whatever. And I want to be able to, if that doesn't get sold immediately at harvest when that test is done, I want to test it again before, sample it, I'm sorry, for a quality control before it is done. Let me see here. I think I had, I think I'll have to just put the rest of my comments in producer transfers. That's super helpful. Samples. Being able to give seeds and plants to employees is an extremely helpful thing for producers in a market that is moving so fast. We are having to really find stuff and genetics quickly and constantly. So really thankful for that. So thank you for that. Yeah, other than that, I just wanted to say what a positive rules package this is for the most part. Thank you for supporting small businesses. Everybody I worked with at the OLCC is always so helpful when I don't understand the rules or how to do something. So I appreciate that. And thank you for letting me speak today.
Thank you, Jason. What a nice compliment. And yes, for anybody who wishes to submit written comment, this rules package is still within the public comment period, which will end on Halloween this year. So if you have written comments, please submit them by 12 p.m. on the 31st. I see a couple other folks have joined us. Is there anybody that would like to provide testimony for the record today? Please raise your hand in Teams or come off of mute. All right, well, at this time, we have not received any further requests to submit comments, so we're going to conclude the hearing. Again, please remember that written comments must be received no later than 12 p.m. on October 31st to be considered and included into the final rulemaking record. We want to thank everyone for your interest and participation and have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.